Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So today I'm gonna show you how I make my delicious efforiro soup. So without further ado, let's do it. I'm gonna start off by seasoning the beef with salt, seasoning cubes, and some onions. I'm going to give this a quick mix and cook on low heat until the juices start to come out. Next, I'm going to cover it for about 5 minutes and let it cook in its own juices. After 5 minutes, it should look like this. I'm going to add more water to the meat, cover it and let it cook for additional 15 to 20 minutes. And while the beef cooks, I'm gonna go ahead and cook the offals separately. Here I have shaki and kpomo. I have seasoned it the exact same way I seasoned the beef: salt, seasoning cubes, and onions. Adding lots of water to it, as this typically takes a longer time to cook, which is one of the reasons I like to cook it in a separate pot. The second reason is the flavor of the meat stock from the offals can sometimes get overpowering, so I just cook it in a separate pot. And this is gonna take about 40 minutes to cook, and while it cooks I'm gonna go ahead and start preparing my other ingredients. And here I have bell peppers, onion, and scotch bonnet peppers. You can use the scotch bonnet depending on how spicy you like your meals. I'm gonna give this a quick rinse, and I'm going to be taking the seeds of the peppers. You can also take the seeds of the scotch bonnet peppers if you don't want it too spicy. Next, I'm gonna put this in the food processor and get a coarse blend. Next, I'm going to prepare the bonga fish by taking out the bones, and I am going to give this a good rinse. Also, I'm going to blend some crayfish. If you have powdered crayfish, you can certainly use that. Because I don't have any at the moment, I'm going to use my dry blender to blend some crayfish until it's smooth. All the ingredients in this video are listed in the description box below. Checking on my meat to make sure it's cooked. I typically, when making efforiro, it's best not to use too much water, as the soup itself doesn't require too much meat stock. So this looks perfect. The meat is nice and soft, and I'm gonna set this aside and continue prepping my other ingredients. And for this recipe, I'm going to be using a combination of collard greens and spinach. I find this combination to be really nice, as the collard green is kind of on the tough side and the spinach is soft. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take the stems off. Traditionally, the soup is cooked with effor leaves or shaki leaves. That's the most common leaves to cook efforiro, but you can substitute that for any green vegetable. You could use green leaf, you could use ugu, depending on what you have at hand. I'm going to go ahead and chop my spinach leaves, and after this is done, I'll start with the collard greens. After chopping, I'm just going to use my knife to go through it to break up any long pieces. I'm going to transfer this to a bowl and set it aside and start with the collard greens. And my leaves were already washed before I started chopping. I wash my leaves individually, especially the spinach. You want to pay attention to the spinach as this can contain a lot of sand. Next, I'm going to go ahead and start making the soup. I am going to start by turning some palm oil into a clean pot, and I'm just going to let this heat up. When the palm oil is slightly hot, I turn some chopped onions and some iru, aka locust beans, into the oil, and I'm gonna fry this until it's fragrant. And for this recipe, you definitely want to use the iru. If you don't like eating it whole, you can always blend it and it works perfectly. I'm gonna go ahead and add the blended pepper, and I'm just gonna fry this for about 5 minutes. I'm going to season with some salt and 1 seasoning cube. At this point, I don't want to use too much seasoning as my meat stock is quite concentrated and I do not want the soup to end up too salty. I'm gonna go ahead and fry this for about 5 minutes, stirring frequently so it doesn't burn. Next, I'm going to add my dried fish, bonga fish, and I'm adding this earlier because it's slightly drier than normal and I want it to start soaking up some of the juices in the pepper mix. And I am gonna fry this for about 15 minutes, making sure I turn frequently so it doesn't start burning. And when it looks like this, you know the sauce is ready to go. Next, I'm going to add the dried prawns and some powdered crayfish. Give this a good mix, and all the ingredients found in this video can be found at your local market or at your Nigerian store. I am gonna let this fry for an additional 5 minutes and it's going to be ready to add the boiled meat. I'm also going to add the meat stock at this time. Give this a good mix and the sauce is going to be ready to add the vegetables. And I'm going to start first by adding the spinach, as this would give the soup a little bit more moisture to accommodate the collard greens. After the spinach has wilted, I'm going to go ahead and add the collard greens. And if you've made it this far and haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Leave me a comment in the comment section, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'm going to let the soup cook for an additional, say, 2 minutes, and after that the efforiro would be ready. And personally, I think efforiro goes best when paired with pounded yam, but today I'm going to be serving this with eba because I am much too tired and hungry, too hungry to make pounded yam. And here it is, guys. This is how I make my lovely efforiro soup. Please let me know if you have any questions about this recipe. I'll be more than happy to answer, and I guess I'll see you in my next video. Bye.